Hey everyone, and welcome to TurboDonkey Entertainment. I'm Travis, and today we're going to take a look at Harbour. Harbour is a unique worker placement game where players have a single harbour master that they're sending around trying to gain control of the marketplace around the harbour. They do so by buying buildings, playing on the available buildings to buy, sell, trade, and affect the marketplace of 4 different resources. Players have a warehouse where they gain these resources and keep track of how many of each they have. And the marketplace is constantly changing. The value of goods changes on a turn-by-turn basis. So why don't we take a look at this game, and then I'll give you my thoughts. In Harbour, players are attempting to gain control over as much of the harbour area as possible. They do so by buying and selling goods to manipulate the marketplace to gain as much money as possible to be able to purchase these buildings, shown here in the middle. The various goods involved are livestock, fish, lumber, and stone, each of which has a variable value depending on the current situation of the marketplace. Players keep track of how much of each resource they have on their own player boards. For example, the player playing the travel agent currently only has 3 fish, while the player playing the neighbor would have 1 lumber and 2 livestock. Players can gain additional resources by playing on the various buildings shown. Each player has a building on their player board shown here, and would place their worker on these locations or on any of the locations shown that are currently available. For example, the player playing the travel agent could play on the sushi shop. Doing so, the action taken would be to remove 1 fish but gain 1 stone, 1 livestock, and 1 lumber, keeping track of it like so. Another example would be for the neighbor to play here, could play to gain 1 of any resource of his choice. So we'll say he wanted to gain an additional lumber. The reason that players are going to want to make these purchases is so they can buy these buildings for the costs that are shown here. For example, the House of Weights and Standards is $6. The way that players can purchase these is by playing on any location that allows the purchase of a building using this. Most players' main boards will have this on them already, so there should always be that opportunity for a player. The way this is done is by selling goods. The value of the good is shown here, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is set up for a 2-player game. When selling goods, players must sell all of their current inventory. So, for example, let's change this up a little bit. Let's say that the neighbor has 5 lumber and 2 livestock. If the neighbor wanted to play here to purchase the House of Weights and Standards for $6, he could sell lumber for $4 and livestock for $2. However, livestock, there's a minimum of 2 required to purchase or to sell, and for lumber, a minimum of 4. So in order to do this, he would sell both livestock for $2 and sell all of his lumber for $4. So even if he has 5, 4 plus means that he must sell all of that. So in doing so, the player spends his $6. There's no change given. This now becomes the player's card, which they can continue to play on. A new building will come out, and then the marketplace shifts. The card here has arrows showing how everything will work. Cards in the top increase in value and in the amount required, while cards sold will follow around, or tokens sold will follow around and reset this way. This means that, for example, a player who has a lot of stones saved up, if another player purchases something with that stone, suddenly the stone is only worth $2. So that constant change in the marketplace will affect what players are able to do on their turns. Players are also, in addition to looking to purchase 4 of these cards throughout the game, they're also looking at bonuses that they're given. There's different symbols shown, such as the top hat or the anchor. And these can give bonuses on certain cards or for certain player characters. So players will want to pay attention to those as they go. As soon as the player has purchased a 4th building, giving them a total of 5, including the starting building on their card, the game will end. Each player will get to go again until it reaches the starting player. So everyone will have the same number of turns, no matter who purchases that last card first. The winner is determined by adding up the number of stars on these cards. Also, certain cards and certain characters will have bonuses based on these symbols shown. So collecting sets of those may benefit a player, but that will be explained on cards that they've earned or their standard player card. Tiny games like Harbour always are a plus for me, especially when they're a good game like this one is. The main reason for that is I love the fact that this game can travel with me anywhere because there's a lot of game in this tiny little box. Also, it doesn't take up much room on my shelf, so I can have lots of little games that take up the same amount of space as a single larger game that may really offer the same amount of gameplay inside. I like the idea of worker placement, especially with just a single worker, where there's not a ton of choices that are on the board at any one time, but players are still competing over the better spaces and constantly changing the strategy. There's that constant evolution due to the marketplace and the value of the goods as they change. And I really enjoy that in this game. I also like that it's not about gaining money and keeping track of that money through coins or chits or paper money or anything like that. That it's simply done by the value of the goods tracked in one location and how many of those goods of each type you have tracked on your own card. And it's very simple to keep track of what the value of everything is. And that makes it, I think that helps with this profile of this game, of it being such a small box, but still having so much gameplay value inside. I love games that look good. In this game, there's great artwork. I absolutely love it. I haven't found a card in here yet that I've thought was just okay or anything. Some games do have multiple artists or the artwork isn't consistent. Well, the artwork with this one is absolutely consistent. It's silly, fantasy themed throughout, and I love every bit of it. There's some pop culture references kind of hidden in some of the cards, which is always fun for me and always a plus. I think Harbour is an excellent little game, especially for the price. There's a lot of game in this box for the retail price of it. And I think it's one that if you like worker placement or even if you like just economic games where there's a changing marketplace, I think you should go get it. I think you should give it a shot. It plays in under an hour, which is fantastic. And if you're unsure, watch some videos of people playing it online. Take a look at it for yourself. It's a great little game. I highly recommend it, and it's definitely staying in my collection. Thanks for watching.